DHS Secretary Kristi Noem sticking up for the victims of that tragic National Guard shooting after the top Democrat on the House Homeland Security Committee made this shocking statement.
Madam Secretary, you and the gentleman from NCTC reference the unfortunate accident that occurred with the National Guardsman being killed.
You think that was an unfortunate accident?
I mean,
it was a terrorist attack.
Wait. Look, I'll get it straight. Then you can
He shot our National Guardsman in the head.
Former Trump administration ambassador at large and coordinator for counterterrorism, Nathan Sales, joins us now. Hey, Nathan, thank you so much.
Merry Christmas. Great to be with you.
Merry Christmas to you, too. What'd you think of that reaction?
Well, look, this isn't hard. If somebody is taking shots at American soldiers while screaming Allahu Akbar, that's not an accident and that's not unfortunate. That's terrorism. Full stop. And look, this isn't just nitpicking about word choice. It really matters what words we use to describe the threats we face. If we have to hide behind euphemisms, and if we can't be honest and open about the threats we face, we're not going to be able to defeat them.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that hearing yesterday, and there was so much arguing, and he said, she said, and back and forth, and talking over each other, and one lady telling her to shut up, basically, and listen to what I'm saying. There's the rhetoric. We're trying to be pro-America and keep people who want to kill Americans out of our country. What is wrong with that? Why don't the Democrats understand that?
Well, look, the first obligation of any country is to secure their border. If you don't have a border, you don't have a country. And during the hearing yesterday, we heard some really alarming data about the number of known and suspected terrorists who were able to come into the country during the previous 4 years. Now, we need to know a little bit more about where the administration came up with those numbers, but those are eye-popping numbers, and every American should be concerned about known or suspected terrorists who are able to come into our country during the Biden administration. They're not here as tourists. They're not here because they want to build a good life for their families. We need to find out who they are, make a threat assessment, and then anybody who's a known or suspected terrorist, you're not welcome here, time to go home.
Yeah, I mean, you're a counterterrorism expert. This is what you do for a living. So what can our government do to make sure that we keep the bad actors out of our country?
You need to do meaningful screening and robust vetting of everybody who gets on a plane to come to the United States, everybody who files an application for asylum, who wants to build a life here. America has always been a hospitable place. We roll out the red carpet for visitors. But there's a difference between welcoming friends into your house and enemies trying to sneak in. We need to make sure that everybody who's coming here is coming for a legitimate reason, not to do harm.
And are we doing that?
We can always be doing more. I'm encouraged that this administration has made it a priority to protect the border, to shut down illegal crossings in the Southwest, to screen people who are coming here. There's always room for improvement, but the most important thing is you got to make it a priority in the first place.
Yeah, and Nathan, that number is alarming. I know you said it was almost 24,000 Afghan refugees were admitted under President Biden, and we remember that. We remember the withdrawal of Afghanistan. We were bringing in people who were translators. Many of them were good people who were helping Americans fight the fight in Afghanistan. We were bringing them back to our country, but now you're seeing some that are radicalized when they're here. Maybe some of them came over under false pretenses. So what do we do about these almost 24,000 that are here in America?
Well, Afghan soldiers who fought and bled alongside American soldiers, they're our allies, they're our partners. We need to make sure that they don't suffer the consequences of the Biden administration's catastrophic surrender in Afghanistan. But at the same time, we got to make sure that the people who are here are actually who they say they are. And in that chaos of the fall of Afghanistan, my worry is that we didn't have adequate vetting procedures in place to make sure that people who were bound for the United States were actually who they say they are. So we've got to redo it. We've got to look hard and make sure that every Afghan, and not just Afghans, every person who comes to visit the United States or apply for asylum need to have 100% confidence that they're not a threat to the American people.
Nathan, thank you so much.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.